the pillow. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the Miles with Moms podcast. I'm Whitney.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Shanna.
I'm Trisha.
We did it. We're I'll do the intro. I'll do the intro this time.
Yeah.
Last time I skipped it. This is a podcast for moms who run by moms who run, and our goal with this podcast is for mother runners everywhere to never have to run alone or feel alone in their mom life struggles or journey to accomplishing big goals, because guess what? Taking time to take care of yourself and chase your big goals as a mom is not only awesome for you, but it's also awesome for you and everything that you're teaching their kids or your kids. Sorry. I'm going to be I'm feeling like out of it today. So you guys were like, Whitney, go get the neuro gum. See if it'll pep you up. I feel like it's helping a little bit, but I still feel like my brain's on vacation today. I'm not feeling great. And then I took a Mucinex nighttime last night, and it like really messed me up. Like very groggy. I know are you guys like that? It like hits me hard anytime I take like a sleepy time thing.
Yeah, even melatonin. Like I just feel hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not firing on all cylinders at all. Yeah. There was like, I hurt my back a few years ago and I took a muscle relaxer. That was bad news. That was, I was like, I don't know. It was not good. I remember I was at like a snow cone place trying to order for my kids, and the lady was just looking at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I am not okay. It seems like that." Anyways, welcome everybody. We're here, and we're going to talk about what we just decided. Actually, Shanna, do you want to introduce the topic?
Yeah.
Hot seat.
I'm going to go take a nap. I'm just kidding.
No, I like that's like alert. Just kidding.
Right. Just lay on that bed.
I know.
Get comfy.
Can you imagine if we all later out of bed?
It is so tempting. Because I'm like, would that be weird? I've sat there before and been like, would it be weird if my pillows were here? I mean, I'm just right next to the bed.
No.
That'd be a funny like podcast if we all were just like laying down in bed. Having pillow talk. Mother on your pillow talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
definitely a paid. You've got to pay for that one.
Yeah. Pay for that one.
Yeah.
Scandalous.
I never feel like I'm firing on all cylinders until it's time to go to sleep, and then it's like, my brain just turned on.
Oh, so you're not a morning person.
No. Well, it depends. My husband would disagree because we were sitting at 4:30 talking on the couch today, and he was like, what's happening? And it was because I couldn't stop telling stories, but they were like 5 different stories, and they were only halfway done, like I do, because I do interrupt myself. And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm so excited. I'm caffeinated. I'm about to go see my friends. I haven't seen them in forever. We're going to go run. And yeah, so it really depends. But then I got really tired. But late night, I will talk also. If I'm tired, I'll talk. That's pretty much
like, so even though you woke up at like 4 this morning, you'll still be wired tonight?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No,
That's me too.
I just am so excited to talk to people. That sounds terrible. But yeah. So like,
I feel you, Olivia.
Like,
I'm the same way.
I'm like,
I was just talking to some random guy in the gas station. Just, Yeah, and I learned all about this guy. He has 3 kids, 8 grandkids.
Oh my God.
1 grandchild, another
thing for sure.
Yeah.
When I moved here I was in Virginia, so I was in Charlottesville before I moved here. But when I moved here, there were 2 things that really struck me. It was one, when you ask people how they are, like they will really tell you, and they'll tell you their whole life story, like the cashier at the checkout. And then 2, they don't use, and I'm in Tennessee, they don't use road names when they give directions. So they'll be like, you go over the hill and then you'll see a fence and it's the second left. And both of these things were very annoying when I was a reporter, because I was like, first of all, I need to know where I'm going. Like you need give me an address so I can. And then I was always on a deadline. I'm like, I don't really want to be rude, but like, can you please shut up because I got to get the soundbite and I got to go on to the next story that the assignment desk is telling me to go to. But now I love the slower pace. I love most of the time I love the chit chat unless it's a crazy and then you're like, okay, right.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I would not get that vibe with you, Olivia or Trisha.
Oh, thank you. Good. Yeah.
Thanks.
It depends. It's like I usually don't overshare in general, but sometimes a random stranger could. You just never know. But I mean, it's mostly like it's just like okay, because I have limited time with my husband. I feel like I need to, in those like 5 minutes that I've got his attention, I'm like, listen, these are all the things that are on my mind right now. And I'm going to tell you the 10 stories. And they're usually just about the kids, or it's like, we should do this and we should do this. And then that's it. And then I'm just like pumped. Yeah. And then, but I sleep really hard, you know? So like once I'm asleep, like he's good. He'll be fine. He can watch his shows and all that stuff. He'll be fine. He just has to listen to me for 10 minutes, 15 minutes while I just like get it all off my chest really quick. So yeah. But I'm telling you, yeah, there's a lot going on in here, but it's because my brain is on vacation all the time. Like nighttime Mucinex, my baseline.
No, there's no way. But I was thinking of you when on the secret podcast that we're dropping, everybody, Patreon in February, we are launching a secret podcast. But I was telling you about these Netflix shows by Harlan Coben. Yes. And I told you that they're like mystery thrillers and they're series and they're based on this guy's books. And I was like, I can't really watch it because I get so into it and it's all I can think about. Well, yesterday when I wasn't feeling well, the kids had friends over. So I just like checked out and I binge watched them. And that also messed with my head. So I did that. And then I took the nighttime Mucinex. And so I'm like, who am I? Is somebody's head getting cut off? Like,
oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
If anybody, tell us if you have watched these shows. They're so good. They're so good.
I'm really excited.
There's just there's a whole bunch of them on there. This guy, he's an author, and Netflix has turned a whole bunch of his books into series. And so, but his name is Harlan Coben. They all take place in England, and they're very captivating. Super captivating. Lots of twists and turns, lots of storylines, and somehow he connects them all together at the end, and you're just like, whoa. So,
that's crazy. That's so fun. Speaking of the UK, we have UK listeners, and I think that's just so cool.
Hey.
Yeah. I love if you guys ever DM us and you're like, hello from the... Sorry, I did not mean to make you an accent.
Just add it to the list under West Virginia, you know?
Yeah.
I did not mean
lost a country.
Yep. Lost a country. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Okay. From the UK. Whenever you guys say that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy to think about. It's just so crazy. It's so awesome. So, and that you're hearing us in American accents and you're thinking in a British accent. I love it. It's so cool.
So I don't know if you guys have seen, I'm doing this push-up challenge that's like absurd this month. And
we've seen.
So one of the guys is from the UK and the two of us, we just like push each other's buttons and it's friendly banter. But he has called me multiple profanity? Whatever that is. I can't even speak English, but he calls me like all these names all the time. And
really?
And he sang a very nice song telling me to fuck off. And it was the most beautiful fuck off I've ever heard in my life. Like in a British accent, anything sounds good with that accent. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's me who doesn't sound classy at all.
Have you ever listened to British people fight? It's the funniest thing ever. I'm sorry if you're listening, but it's just like, it's so proper and it's like, I can't take them serious.
Yes.
Like, they're so like refined. Like,
at
at each other and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like,
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
I think that's why. Like, you could say anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it sounds so,
I'm gonna start
refined.
picking fights with my husband, but in a British accent.
There you go.
Yes.
Imitate it right now, but I'll do it at home.
Yeah. He takes those dollar bills again. You show him what's up.
Yeah, those are my dollar bills. Yeah, exactly.
Call him a wanker.
Oh, wait.
There you go. That was good.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering where Shanna is hearing British people fight on a regular basis.
I know what.
My algorithm is a mess right now, as you guys know. I literally spent like 15 minutes last night watching this guy dress his 2 fingers and he dances with them.
What? Stop clicking on these things.
No, I just see the videos you send
funny.
me, which are
Well,
equally
she's gonna send
entertaining.
that one.
Did you see the one she sent me yesterday?
Laughing so hard though. It was ridiculous. And also why?
He has so many followers and he makes so much money and he just dances with clothes on his fingers. Why?
Wow.
Why is my algorithm so weird? Like I don't understand. I literally all I comment on is running profiles. I don't know why I'm seeing that. Or
Yours is weird.
The nips.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. Shanna sent me one. Well, no. I need to know though why. Okay, look, Whitney. So Shanna sends me this video, and it's this guy with these like National Geographic sized nips. Okay.
Oh,
he's like posing, and he's got an arrow pointing down directly above his nether regions. And she sends this video to me of this guy. And there's this like little man that appears from the side and hangs a towel like on his nipples. But she's like, yeah, I saw this and I immediately thought of you. And so I'm like, what was that about that guy that you're like, oh, Trisha, this is her.
I think it's just the humor being so like it's so ridiculous that I was just like, this is something I don't know with Trisha. So I know it's like why
You're bringing her down with you. Now your algorithm's going to be all jacked up too.
There's nothing wrong with my algorithm. I am not complaining one bit. Mine's very nice.
Very nice.
Horses and then with jump ropes and stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's hot.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You know, also, I bet our listeners have been left hanging now.
I know. I was like, yeah,
What is
introduced
the
the topic about 10 minutes ago.
We'll save this for Patreon.
Okay, wait. Yeah, okay. I'll read. This is a running podcast.
Yes.
Funny podcast.
Yes.
Okay, well, let me do a shout out and then we'll introduce the topic. We're going to leave everybody hanging. Right? What are we going to talk about? The truth is, listeners, we have no idea. We're just biding our time. It's like when you're at a restaurant and you're like, I'm not ready to order yet. Okay. We are shouting out to, wait, what are you doing? What is that?
I'm plugging in Remedy.
She's doing a plug.
Nasty shot.
Oh, wait, what is it?
Taking
It's
shots?
From like
Tequila?
No.
I can't see it. What is
Like,
it?
I'm in.
Remedy.
It's like a
Is
shot.
that the protein drink?
Oh,
Yeah, but they have like immunity shots. So
I was gonna say it looks like immunity. Is it super peppery and like spicy?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should have gotten those. Maybe that's what happened to me. I do feel like they help. Those
Gross.
I
immunity
need to look
shots.
those up.
Ooh. There's like a whole like you can buy them at the grocery store. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
We are shouting out Julie Potter. She is a mom of 3 and a middle school guidance counselor. She's training for her 10th marathon and her 4th Boston. She's a former collegiate runner, and she's run, many different seasons. Running's been with her in her life. Here are her words describing why she loves to run. I've been a runner for almost 25 years, and I would be lying if I didn't say it was a love-hate for some of it. There's so many highs to my collegiate, so many highs, high school track and cross country, which led to collegiate running, my first marathon, and also my first BQ, coaching track and cross country where I met my husband, but also many lows, actually competing in D1 college running trying to balance running with living life in my 20s and trying to get pregnant and thinking running was the problem. Fast forward to now, I have truly found the joy and my love for running again. My why has changed over many different seasons of my life, but right now I just love to be out there by myself, no music, just me, my sneakers, and the open road. I love to be in my basement on the treadmill with my kids around me, showing them the importance of living a healthy life, self-care, and working to achieve goals and do hard things. I'm grateful for everything running has given to me the last 25 years. Even those lows have given me so much to be thankful for, and I wouldn't have the life I do without it. So my why for running is because running has given me my family, my friends, passion, resiliency, grit, and drive, and truly helped shape me into the woman, daughter, friend, wife, and mother I am today. That is so beautiful.
That
It's so true. Like when you think about who you would be if you didn't have running in your life, I don't know who I would be.
I'd be
a very unpleasant person.
Yeah,
I'd be scary.
A mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be a mess.
Well said.
Yeah.
That sums it up beautifully. I would be a mess.
A mess.
Okay. Well, so Julie, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for listening to the podcast. All right, Shanna, what are we going to talk about today? It is up to you.
So we're going to talk about our bathroom issues on our runs. No, just
How have we not done a podcast on just poop?
I don't know.
I feel like I've never gone on a run with moms where poop didn't come up like at least once.
That's
like if it's your poop, your kids poop, your dog's poop,
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
That's actually true. It probably came up like 4 times on a run today. No, all serious note, we're going to be talking about how to overcome the fear of opinions in general, in life, in motherhood, in every asset of life, like every facet of our lives. Like, I feel like we just get bombarded with so many opinions that it's like, you're constantly like, especially if you come from like a people pleaser personality, you can get so wrapped up in like what other people think about you and how they perceive you. And then it can start weighing you down. I know that's something personally, like I have been trying to overcome, like especially getting on social media almost 2 years ago. And it's been a wild ride. Like it's like trying to stay true to who you are, but also, knowing that you're not perfect and that you do need to change yourself and you do need to grow as an individual, but also not allowing the opinions of every single other person around you to just overcome your every thought, and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now in my life, where I feel like I am just trying so hard to make everybody satisfied with who I am, that it's like, it's a tug of war in my brain where I'm just like, I'm being ripped one way and then ripped another way. And then it's like, it's never enough. I always have this saying where I'm like, damned if you do, damned if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I feel like we all battle with that in some point of our lives where the fears just start to overcome our minds and our thoughts, and it can feel just overwhelming at times.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you're speaking, I'm like, how could anybody ever like question you as a person, Shanna, with like all that you do and all that you have on your plate? I'm like, if anything, anybody who is in your sphere of influence, I feel like they would be like, what can I do to help you, knowing that you have so much on your plate?
Anything it stems from jealousy from probably anybody who would know you or see you. Like, I think because you do put out this air of like being able to balance things so effortlessly, and obviously on social media people are only getting like a partial side of you. I don't think you do the whole highlight reel thing of your life. I think you show a lot of reflected life.
Yeah.
Right. But even those you handle so well. And it's like, and then like, there's so many things, like you're fast on top of that. You like, your kids are so nice, and like, I think it's hard for
people have assholes with kids.
Well, like, I mean, there's 6 of them. Like, they're like, the probability of you having a tough to be around kid would be high, and you don't. Like, you just don't, and so I imagine that if someone isn't feeling good about themselves, that's where that stems from, and that's where negativity would come from. And it's like, well, what can I comment on that's negative about her then? For any of you guys, right? Like, it's like Trisha, when
you
people
went through that too, right? like you went through a lot of opinions on you and your life and how you approach pregnancy, fitness, and even postpartum, and just probably, I mean, eventually too, some other stuff when you start talking more about it, you know, like I'm sure you're going to get opinions on that, you know? And so it's just like, I feel like we've all been there. Like, I feel like we've all been there where we've had opinions on how we approach things. And it's just like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like we've all read that Let Them, Mel Robbins book, right? Or we've heard about it. And I feel like just reading her book more and more and more, I'm just like we can only be ourselves. Like at the end of the day, we can run ourselves ragged to try to keep up with what everybody else wants us to be, but it's never going to be enough because we can't please every single person, right? Like there's just too many people out there with different opinions and different perspectives, and you're never going to be enough for everyone. And so just like, I don't know, I just want to like, I want us to talk about like how we can like hone in on just being true to us and being confident in our decisions as moms, as runners, and like really lean into that. Cause like, I don't know, I feel like so many moms battle that. They battle with being true to who they are on social media because they're afraid of the backlash from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to portray who you really are on social media, I feel like. I mean, I bet there are people that you follow and you think you wouldn't like them, and then when you meet them in person, you're like, oh, you're totally different than how I perceived you to be. There
or
was
the
a part, or the opposite. Yeah, exactly.
I've had that experience more times than
Same.
not.
Yeah.
I think there was something in the Let Them book that really, it was not at all mind blowing, but it really helped me, where she talked about how you're going to have bad thoughts about people you love. Like there are going to be things about them that you don't like. And so for me, I think I care more about what the people in, because we're talking about many different factors, right? And many different layers, like what people think about you on social media, what people in like close in your sphere think about you. And then, you know, the acquaintances or the moms at the schools or people in the running community that you meet with. Like there are all these different layers that all these people are perceiving you. But as far as like worrying about the people in your life that don't, you know, having them have bad opinions of you, it's like, I don't know, it really helped me to realize that no, there are many people that I love, but I don't love everything about them, but that doesn't at all take away my love for them. And that's it's true for me too. You know, it's like, no, my husband's not going to love everything about me, and that's okay. That's totally normal, and vice versa, you know. And that kind of helped me stop trying to be perfect. I mean, God, I'm nowhere near close to perfect in anything, but like trying to be, I'm not a huge people pleaser, but that has helped me not be as much of a, or just worry about offending people or people not liking the way I do things. Because it's just like, everybody's going to have a different, somebody's going to think what you do is great. Somebody else is going to think it's terrible. And it's just, you can't be all things to all people. So I don't know. Am I making sense? I don't think the neurogum is helping me.
You're making sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm just going to go take some more Mucinex and go take a nap back there, guys.
Her pillow talk is like far away. Just
like,
that's great. That's a great point, guys.
I don't care what people think about me.
She really doesn't care.
I will say, so just because things have been busy and it just hasn't been on my radar, I've not been on social media as much lately. And that does kind of help get out of your head too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that many people on social media think much about me, but like, you know, when you do a post, you do worry about like, how is this going to land? Because I don't know. There are like times where I've talked about my struggles and I'm like, oh, I'm worried that people think that I'm just a shit show. And then why would I ever hire this girl as a coach when it's like every time she posts something, she's talking about how she's injured or sick or whatever. And I've worried about that. But then I have people who reach out to me and they're like, thank you for being honest, or I want you to be my coach because you understand what it's like to be injured. And so it's just, again, it's like, you never know the prism that people are seeing things through. So, but if you're I don't know. I have found that being on social media, posting and reading others people's stuff helps like quell the worry of what people are thinking about what I'm doing. If that makes sense. I don't know, guys. I have no idea what I'm saying.
No, totally. I totally agree with that. I do think like having that separation from social media, because I feel like that is a big factor of why so many people struggle with like mental health, things like that, or like the fears of opinions, because it's constantly in front of you, right? Like usually back then before social media, like you'd have to call somebody up and see how they were doing, and at every second, you know, you don't know what's going on in every second of their day because you don't have like the story highlights and things like that. So it's true. Like social media truly does, I think, impact that in so many ways, like on a deeper level.
So if you take, oh, go ahead, Olivia.
No, you go for it.
No, you go, because whatever, I'm going to say something incoherent.
she's drugged. Mute her.
Oh my gosh.
I am. I'm going to mute myself.
That is
Whitney plus Mucinex equals just bad news.
It's exciting. We just don't know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Actually, sorry, that's funny. Eleanor yesterday was talking to her friend, and she was like, yeah, my dad says things that are cringy, and then my mom says things that she probably shouldn't say.
Oh, cute.
Oh my I'm sorry. It just cracked me up. And she hasn't even heard the podcast. Okay, Olivia, what were you going to say?
Hold on, let me get the train back on its tracks.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, you're fine. So I care a lot what people think of me, just in the sense I care a lot to be liked. Because, and so I feel like that's a big part of like why I don't want people to know too much, because like what if I offer up an opinion that they don't agree with, and then all of a sudden, you know, my husband has like deep fears that I will talk politics with people, and like
That's
you know,
so
I think he thinks that I don't know. I think he thinks that I'm just like on Instagram, like taking other people's word for it versus like trying to, you know, because we don't talk politics, my husband and I, we just try to keep it out of the house. So anyways, with that being said, so this is coming from having a smaller account, and it was very hard to ever share that I had started this running Instagram, because I was like, well, you know, people are going to think I'm so weird, you know, for doing this, because in my personal Instagram side of the world, people don't post their runs. They just, if they go for a run, which not a lot of my friends are runners or acquaintances that I know, they probably just won't post about it. Or if they do, that's the only post they ever make about it. It's not like a thing, you know? And so I was like really worried about people thinking that I'm so weird for doing this. And whenever you guys are ready to subscribe to our Patreon, you can hear about how hard it is for me to like show any kind of vulnerability. And I very much felt like that was like a side of me that I didn't really want people to see, because I share a lot of like, you know, stories and things like that are not just the surface level of my life. And not that I'm trying to portray anything on that other side. It's just mostly like, you know, oh, my kids made this art project, and then nobody knows anything more about me, right? So I feel like I've cared so much. And then, I mean, obviously we've talked about this whole like let them, and like I can't. It's very hard for me to let anybody I want to be in control of other people's opinion of me. And so if I get the vibe that someone doesn't like me, I will pull back. Like, you will not hear from me. You will have to reach out to me, because I think that you don't like me. You will have to validate that for me. But I feel like when it was described to me more as like, when you let other people have their opinion of you, you're taking your own power back, because then you're also giving other people their power, their autonomy. Like, it doesn't affect you, because in that sense, because you have to be in love with yourself first. And so if you love yourself the very most, and you are confident in that, then like, why would somebody else's opinion of you rattle what you think of yourself, right? Because like I love my husband so much, I'm allowed to be annoyed with him. But if anybody else was to say anything, I will defend it to like I would get so angry. And so why not stand up for yourself like that, right? Like that's fine. You can just not like me, but then it means you don't know the real me, right? And I can say that, because they wouldn't know the real me if cuz I stand by what I say, and then I don't go out offending people left and right, if I let them in too much. It's just I'm nervous for people to know too much. So it's hard because I don't worry so much on my social media, on my Instagram, of what my running people think of me, because I feel like I do share it, that is the realest side of me. Like if I post about treadmill running, it's because I wholeheartedly feel that way. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm not trying to tell you that running on the treadmill is the best thing ever. I'm telling you that this is what my life looks like and this works. But if people on my personal Instagram think it's so weird that I set up a camera and film myself running, then I'm like, whatever. It's what I do. It's fine. And I think that was really hard for me to come around to for a long time. I still feel weird about it sometimes. Like if I'm outside running and I
hate it. I feel so
take
weird
out my
too.
camera, I'm like, this is embarrassing.
It always feels like self-involved or something. Like, look at me, I'm running.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It is. But then at the same time, it's like, look at me, I'm running.
Yeah, I know. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I know, I love to see you guys running, but
I know, that's how I feel too.
It's funny. Yeah. I don't know. Even when I was a reporter, it was weird. Because you'd have to sometimes film yourself. And I'm like, I feel like a schizophrenic. Talking to myself. It's so interesting to hear you say that you care what people think, Olivia, because I guess I always equate people who care what people think to being very guarded.
Yeah.
You don't at all seem guarded. It's this is the real Olivia that we get, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like everything's carefully, I don't know, calculated. I don't know. I guess people who seem they care very much what people think, all their moves and posts and everything they say is very calculated.
Yeah. It's definitely not I want people to know that what I'm wearing is important or anything like that. It's more just about, I think, my feelings towards certain things, or I think I just don't ever want to feel embarrassed or questioned, and that's where it comes from. It's if I say something that someone could doubt, how I I talk about this move all the time, right? I tell you guys, but if someone out there was to ask, we have people over right now, if someone out there was to ask me about the move, I'd be like, this has been the best move ever. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The move?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, moving here, moving to
the move. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. And so it's those kinds of things.
What? Going back to poop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like nothing is calculated. It's just about more letting people in a lot, I think, is what I'm talking about, yeah, because I don't, yeah, I want people to feel like when I'm talking to them that they are the most important. I want to know everything about the other person. I don't want to talk about myself. I don't think anything that I have is more important than what the other person has. I'm not I would never brag about things it's just interesting. And so I've just really realized a lot of that stuff about myself, where I just I never want to share something that would where the sentence comes out and it almost comes off well, I have this, or I'm like this, you know what I mean? Because I want other people to feel equally as important or more important. I want them to feel like the most important person, and everything that they say is so worth hearing, I don't know. And that's why I think when Shanna and I talk about when we went on that first run together and we were just back and forth firing questions off, it's because we were both doing that, you know what I mean? And it was this thing where it was oh my gosh, she wants to know just as much as I want to know. This is crazy. That's nice, so
It ties into Dolly Parton. I think it was Dolly Parton that said, like, it's not about what you say, it's how you make people feel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love a good Dolly quote. Are you kidding me?
I'm in the land of Dolly, so.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love that. But it's true, right? Like, which I think that part on social media isn't that why what our posts are doing is like it's making somebody feel a certain type of way. So either they are like, and at the end of the day, some people will just not like you, right? But either they feel really inspired and connected to you, or they think it's awesome what you're doing, or they feel jealous and they want to tear you down somehow, right? Isn't that what the whole caring about what other people think is like so much of it comes from the social media side of our life?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. And it's hard to balance too, like.
Trisha, you look like you have something to say.
Yeah.
I'm just processing.
You're stewing in thoughts.
Well, I think Trisha's just gonna be like, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Well,
I think you do. Maybe you have to put
to a point.
Like you don't.
Yeah. To a point. Like I never would want to offend anyone. But so I've been on social
that's
media.
good.
Like like I don't want to ever say something that like truly hurts someone. I'm sure I say things that offend people all the time, like the whole state of West Virginia.
Yeah.
But
last episode is a great example. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily care. Like I know that I'm not for everyone. And that has taken me a long time to really come to. And I've been on social media for like 6 years. And when I first started sharing, I curated everything because I wanted it to look a certain way. And so everyone would like me. But then the more backlash that I got, like during my pregnancies and postpartum, in hindsight, it actually was kind of a huge blessing because it hurt so bad to hear all of these negative things about me at the time. But it made me realize like, wow, okay, I don't need everyone to like me. And I certainly don't want these people that are spewing these negative things at me to like me. And now it's like when my followers drop, which I really don't pay attention to, I'm actually really excited about it because it's like weeding out the bullshit.
Absolutely.
Where before it was like, oh my God, like people aren't following me. They don't like me. And now I think I just truly accept that I'm not for everyone. And if there are people that make like hateful and rude comments to me, that it is a pure reflection on them. And I wholeheartedly believe that because like I'm not out there hurting people, you know? So if they have anything bad that they think about me or say to me, and I've said this before, is that like happy people don't say those things, you know?
So true.
Like unless you're insecure and lack a lot of self-confidence, you're not going to walk around judging other people. So like I don't think any of us would be just scrolling social media with negative thoughts about anyone else. You know,
when I have negative thoughts, it's because I'm jealous of something.
Yeah.
And that's huge that you can say that.
Yeah. Well, it's 100%. Yeah, me. It's because of like I see something that triggers an insecurity in me, and it has nothing to do with them. You know,
right?
So it goes. It goes back to everything that you just said.
And I think too, like in terms of Olivia, you were talking about, and that's why I'm like sitting here just listening to everything that everyone is saying with like just trying to be vulnerable on social media with posts and being real. That's something that I never did at the beginning. And even now, I'm not vulnerable about certain things, like big things in my life right now, until I've gone through it and processed it myself, and I can like shed a better light on it. But when the very first thing that I was ever vulnerable about after a perfectly curated social media, life, was my eating disorder. And I went live on Facebook, and I went live and just spewed my entire story for like an hour. And I closed that out, didn't look at social media again until the next day. And I thought I was going to vomit. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my God, like, and I don't even know what prompted me to do it. I just felt called to share my story, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally did open it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, no one had anything negative to say. If they did, they left, they didn't comment, but so many comments and so many messages to me, just like thanking me for sharing my story, and then people opening up about their own struggles. And so that has really helped me in just to try to be more real with things, because so many people are struggling, and when they go through social media and they're scrolling through and there's so much perfection, it can make you feel really shitty.
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I doing wrong? And why does this person have it all together when I am like, hanging on by a string? So, I think I've gone through many ebbs and flows. And so, I mean, do I care about what people think? I mean, obviously I don't want people to dislike me, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're all only on this earth for so long. Why am I going to waste my energy worrying about everybody else,
So true. So true. And I think that's a good way to like even remember on our side, when people don't share everything that's going on in their lives that are the lows, because I do the same thing where like I have to sit and process things over and over and over again until I feel comfortable to even discuss it. And so I think sometimes too that may come off like, oh, she has her shit together all the time. And it's like, no, I really don't. Like, if you could read, you can hear the thoughts in my brain. Like, it's constant, like, self-doubt. It's like questioning, am I doing things right? Am I approaching this right? Did I say the right thing to this person? And, but yeah, I think that's a good reminder for even myself. Like, when I see a very aesthetically pleasing feed on my account that like, hey, we really truly don't know what they're battling. And it's really not even it's not even our place to even be able to have that. Like, that's their option, whether they want to share that chapter of their life, and that's okay. That doesn't make them a bad person because they're not ready to share it yet, right? There's a time and a season for things to be shared, like your eating disorder. And I think when we act on those moments, when we do feel prompted to talk about it, like, these episodes that we do, we've gotten pretty vulnerable on some of these episodes. It really can impact somebody's life for the better. And, but yeah, not everybody's in that season, with their lows yet, where they're open to share it publicly,
Sure. And even like you and I had talked about like battling depression and everything. Like, I mean, when I was in the depths of that, no one, not even my close friends or family knew about it. So it was like, sure as shit, I'm not going to share this on social media. Until I had processed it and was in a better place to be able to share it.
Do you guys ever
some people that.
Do you guys ever like struggle to like? I shared a post today, kind of just talking about like that, that go-getter, independent personality, and how I've been journaling a lot in Tessa's journal, and it has been so hard for me to journal in her journal because I think it just makes me go to depths of thoughts that I just never got to ever in my life. Like, I would always be on the surface level with my brain, and it's been really painful process for me to go through. But I realized that like my independence and my go-getter personality is like my form of just feeling like I am a burden on people. And I didn't realize that until just like honestly a couple weeks ago, that I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is not a good trait. Like, it can be a good trait, but why I'm using it is not a good reason. And it's just to protect myself, like, so I don't feel burdensome to somebody else, or somebody doesn't let me down because they can't reciprocate, and so I just protect myself. But I think I don't know, I just think it's so interesting that, sometimes it just, I don't know, it just takes people time to get to that level to share things openly. And I always get so afraid that I'm going to offend people from my past that may have been in those chapters of my life that caused maybe some pain of that, or that trauma. And I never want them to feel like, oh my gosh, they're a bad person, because we're all human, right? We're all trying to navigate life. We're all trying to grow as people. And so it's scary to share those things openly because you don't want to hurt other people around you that may have been involved with something that you're struggling with, right? I don't know if I'm making sense on that, but
big time. Especially with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a big thing for me right now going through a divorce is like, I need to be careful about what I say, because I mean, what you put out on the internet is there forever. I don't want my kids to look at what I'm sharing on social media and see anything that they could be like harbor that burden feeling, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think that when a lot of like fiercely independent people, it's definitely been researched and talked about how that can often just be a trauma response for so many different things. And I think that that's where that comes from, is that you have felt like a burden. And I mean, you talk about that, like you don't want to feel like a burden to people, and just how big, what a big part of your life that is and stuff. And like your thoughts on how you approach things. And I think that that's what happens with a lot of like fiercely independent people, is they just don't, it's like, you could ask for help, but it's just sometimes easier to do it by yourself because you've always had to. Like that's kind of how I always have felt. Like, I always had to make rent, and it's like, well, so it's like I never had this assistance and all this stuff. And so it's like I have such a hard time because my husband, he always says, like, I'm so defensive. It's like so hard for me to get vulnerable and stuff. I'm so defensive. And it's like I've always done things by myself. And so the thought of asking for help, like the idea of looking weak to me, I don't know. It's like I know isn't, and I know he doesn't care. I know nobody else is watching, and for some reason it like weighs on me very heavily. So I totally get that. It's like, well, I'll just do it by myself, I can do that. Like you're not going to tell me otherwise, and I will prove it to you, no matter what that takes. And yeah, so it's interesting how when you really think about it so much, and that's like, I never want it to come off that I am like curating anything for any, like this is the real me and everything. I just have such a hard time. Like if I got the vibe that any of you guys didn't like me right off the bat, it would have eaten me alive. Like it's crazy. I would never, I'm like, well, what can I do? Well, I should send them something. I should probably send them something. That would be the best way for them to like me, because then they would know that I really care. And so then I'd be like, oh, I wonder what they like, and it's why I'll say yes to if someone asks me for help, yeah, I'll help. I don't care what it is. I will say yes.
Yeah.
And it's like a great way to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. And like all the time I'm like, I don't even think they like me. I think they just like that I help with them with stuff, and it's like at a certain point, like learning to say no and hoping that the person still likes you that's been like my goal for 2025, is like learning to say no to things. And that, because I tell other people all the time, no is a full sentence. But for me, no, no worries. No worries. I'll be there in an hour. Like is what that turns into. Yeah. It's crazy how we respond to things. And so much of it is just from the past, or how other people made us feel,
Do you guys feel like when you meet somebody, or do you always assume people aren't going to like you, or do you enter into social situations thinking that people already like you?
That's a good question.
Kind of neutral.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on the person.
Like you don't feel like you have to prove yourself.
If I have a vibe feeling where I'm like walking on eggshells with this person, and it feels kind of like tension in the air. Like I don't know, I feel vibes really strongly with people. I don't know how to explain it. Like I can feel when a soul is like either hurting or just like has a lot going on, or if they just don't have good intentions. Like I can kind of just feel it in my gut. I think it just depends. Like if I feel good from the start, then I'm very trusting. Really
Same. There's so much to be said about a first impression, I feel like.
Yeah, that should be another.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like I get that just like as a PT, like when I'm meeting a new patient. I don't really necessarily feel like I need to prove or like need them to like me. I certainly hope they do, because I'm going to be like one-on-one with them for so much, but I always feel like I need to prove like, oh, like I'm good at what I do and I can help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as far as like just like everyday people, I'm kind of the same way. Like I will be super friendly to you and just be who I am. But if I get a vibe that I'm like not for you, like I don't need to
waste time.
Do anymore.
For me, like I'm like that a lot of the times, but then it depends. Then there are like some weeks where I'm not that confident. You know what I mean? Where I want people to like me, but I don't know. I feel like I am moving more in that direction of like, if I'm not for you, I'm not for you, and
I want to be like
that comes with age, you know.
Yeah,
that
we're in
makes
our
me feel
40s,
better.
you know.
Yeah,
Like
40 was a big turning point. I feel like
No,
for me,
for sure.
with
I
that.
bet it was.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'll be better at that once I get a little bit older. I really do, because even this for me has like, I think in my 20s, especially when my husband was introducing me and we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, that was so, I mean, like, I would have done cartwheels. If it would have impressed people, I would have been like, "Oh my gosh, have you?
Same.
Oh, you want to see me attempt to do the worm? Yeah, I'll do the worm. I'll do the worm. Yeah." And like, it does not matter what it was. Like, if you would have challenged me to eat a bunch of donuts, I don't know what I would have done anything for anybody to like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm making a ton of progress because it's not all consuming. Children really, really help with that. Like,
Yes.
you know, in so many ways, because you're like, I know that I'm every day trying to be the best person that I can be. And so like, that is something to really lean into, you know?
It's
And
funny. I feel like it's kind of the opposite for me because I'm like, whatever. There's like these phantom moms in my mind of like who does everything perfect and is on it, you know, all these super, I don't know who exactly they are. I think it's like piecemeal of women that I've met.
Yeah.
And that I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm just not stacking up. Again, it depends on the week, but it's like, I'm not doing it as good as all the other moms. Like they're packing stellar lunches and all their kids' clothes are perfectly folded and, you know, they're making.
Why does it matter?
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
That's a great point.
Right.
It's, I don't know.
You know?
I don't know it's like, whose standards are we really trying to live up to? Like nobody cares. That's the thing. Nobody cares. And everybody's got their own shit. Yeah. And their lives are so busy that it really is like other people are not thinking about you as much as you at all think that they are, or you're thinking about them.
Right.
That's so true. Yeah. I needed this the other day that so in Utah, if you're wondering where all the perfect moms are, they're here. They're right here in St. George.
Yeah.
They're the most perfect people you've ever seen in your life. I've never seen anything like it. And it was like perfect bento boxes and everything is perfect all the time.
It's like that in my neighborhood.
Is it?
They're all like beautiful blondes wearing perfect outfits and like
That's how exhausting. It is here. And I never even got a diaper bag. Or we had like 1,000 diaper bags gifted to us and I sold them all because I was like, I'm not packing that up. I'll bring a diaper and the wipes. Like
same.
Like I like little purse, I'll smash that in there. Yeah. Anyways, like you know, and I just feel it's like this comparison game, or like, you know, like are people watching what I'm doing and it's like not good, you know, like if I have my kids on iPads or something, I worry about that a lot with the fact that I'm on the treadmill all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm on the, you know, treadmill, and so they have their iPads and blah blah blah. And so I went to the McDonald's play place the other day though. I've never been there before.
So funny.
And wow, did I need that boost. No one there gives a fuck. I was like, oh my God. Charlotte whacked her head and a couple people looked up and no one budged. Like she's fallen off so many things at the park and everybody's like, oh my gosh, call 911, you know, and McDonald's play place, no one. There were snotty kids like barefoot and I was like, this is great. Yeah, this is so cool. This was the vibe that I needed. My son wasn't super, he's like a little more bougie. He was like, not for me. But it was like, I loved it. The vibe was good. And I was like, this is what I was talking about. I needed more of this. You know, I don't think I'll frequent it, you know, but like when I was like,
when you're feeling down on yourself.
Yeah. So I'm going to go. I called my husband and I was like, this is fantastic. Like, this is filthy. And I needed this. And we left and we went back to a park. It was so great. And I needed it because I was like, where have the type B moms been? You know? Everybody.
They're not at Target, they're at Walmart. Okay?
Yeah.
That's like
that's true. I'm a Walmart girl, so Walmart plug.
You know, all those like perfect Utah moms, I bet they've got some shit. Like, there's no way.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
I think
yeah.
it stems from a lot of them feel like they have to look like a certain persona in a certain way. It's a culture. It's its own culture.
Right.
And that's something that I'm learning more and more that I'm here. And then you start talking to them, you're like, oh, they're like actually normal. Like most of them.
Yeah.
There's some that aren't savable, but but
yeah.
I think that, like, you realize like that they have like deep rooted crap too, or they come from like a really bad
everybody
past,
does.
or
so and it's one of those things where like if you share a little bit with them, they feel very comfortable too. And I love being like, especially just like the non-LDS girl, like people will open up a lot quicker sometimes, and it feels really good because then I feel like we have an air of non-judgment, you know, because like I'm never going to judge anybody for anything. Yeah, I constantly live in fear of everyone judging me for everything that's coming out of my mouth, you know. So this podcast has been hard every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even listen because I'm so nervous people are not going to like me.
Well,
you know,
that's like another whole. That's like another whole thing too. Like the fear of people listening to episodes that know you, and it's like, why does that opinion matter? Like, I don't know why. Like, it makes me like die inside when I know that this people that know me are listening to it. You know, and it's not like anything that's said. It's not what I would say to them in a conversation, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's weird that opinions like are always so front and center all the time, and it just feels like
yes,
I don't know.
Which is so funny because I get so excited when like there's like just the most amazing mother runner community, and like every time they message, I want to like squeeze each and every one of them, and I don't know them, you know, but all of a sudden now I feel like they know all these things about me, and I feel like that's so special. But yeah, it's just it's like this fear of, I don't know, like I think worrying that we said the wrong thing or like offending someone. But yeah, it's so crazy. The weight of other people's opinions is heavy, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess, how strong you are to hold those up, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, should that go on a t-shirt? That was wise as fuck.
Look at you.
I know.
Good.
I probably saw it on Pinterest.
Oh, you did?
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
No, just own it.
Out.
Yeah,
I mean,
it came out of your
I'm gonna
mouth.
claim it. Yeah.
She has ChatGPT on her phone. She's like,
what is something wise to say on a podcast?
hurry, quick, right now. I need it right now.
No, that's so funny because I use ChatGPT for everything.
Where can I go in Utah to make me feel like a better mom? McDonald's Play Place.
Play Place, perfect.
Right. It is dirty and filthy and fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my poor kids. They were like, there's no pool here. Like, no, there's no pool here.
Oh my gosh.
I have seen some gnarly things in Vegas pools, and a McDonald's Play Place would still be worse. I can guarantee it. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I don't want anyone to worry about like what people think about them, because you guys are like amazing and fantastic people. So if anyone thinks anything negative, you guys, like, fuck them. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Put that on a t-shirt.
That's my wise comment for the day.
Yeah.
No ChatGPT there.
Oh my gosh.
Word of 2025.
Yes.
Oh
I'll
my
send
goodness.
that to my friend who's making the logos. I'll be like, here are all the taglines that we're coming up with.
Yeah.
Well, no, I feel the same, Trisha. I'm like, why would any of you guys think that anybody would ever think anything bad about you? Because there's nothing bad about you. Everything's wonderful.
Thanks. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I think this is like the one I think this is like the one big thing in general of like my approach to so many things, friendship, Yeah, mostly friendship. Any type of relationship, the fear of just like not being liked, or it's something that I've always felt, but I think much more, like, just much more over time. I think because the older that people do get, the more honest they are. And I have a really hard time with people being blunt with me, and yeah, so I think like if someone was to tell me like, "Oh yeah, you're really abrasive" or something, I'd be like, must change this about myself. Go to therapy for 8 weeks.
Are there things
About
in
just this.
particular that you're like that you guys are worried about portraying a certain persona that you guard against? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I would just never want anybody to think that I'm better and like, or have better things or anything like that. That worries me a lot. Like, I want everybody to know it's like the whole running thing. Like, my marathon time doesn't mean anything more than someone else's marathon time. If it's faster or slower, we just ran the same distance. And if that's like not a metaphor for exactly how I feel about every approach, because we're all going to see each other at the finish line, it just might be at different times of the day, right? So I think that's like the most important thing to me is like,
That is, yeah, because it's tricky on Instagram when you're posting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I never wanted to ever come across as like, ooh, look at me.
Yeah.
Look how like
exactly.
amazing I am. I mean, it's honestly, it's like the opposite of what I want to portray, you
And I
know?
think, Whitney, I think you do a really good job with that. Like, you highlight and shout out so many people all the time. Like, that was what drew me to your account, was the fact that you were just building this mother runner community that made you feel safe and recognized. Like, didn't matter what level you ran or who you were, like, you were something special,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to get back to doing that. Like I said, I've kind of like
You still do
gone
it.
away
You
and
do
I
a
need
great
to, yeah.
job.
I guess
Yeah, you
that like
are.
that's kind of normal too with Instagram. Like people move in and out of it depending on what's going on in their lives, right? And
Yeah.
Trisha's got her Sunday shout outs now.
I know. I love
I love
that.
Yeah,
that.
I was
I
just
love it
thinking, I was
so
like, oh,
much.
I need to put it up. Oh, thanks.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
I love it
do.
too. I mean, it just like, it makes people feel good.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what you do, Whitney, with your
Yeah.
posts.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean,
And
that's
you
what,
do with Shanna with the Metal Monday.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you shout out people in your stories. I think that, yeah, I guess that's like a big depiction between different Instagram accounts. I feel like they're the ones that want you to feel good, and then they're the ones that want you to feel less than,
Yeah.
right?
Praise them.
Wow.
Praise them every
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
day.
It's like this, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Or it's all just like, look at me. Look at me.
Right.
Look at
Like,
me.
look at what a badass I am and all the cool things, and what, like, how busy I am and all the, like, how I'm killing it in every aspect of my life.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm over here, like, trying to recover from taking Mucinex.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be our next sponsor, Mucinex.
Mucinex. Call them up.
That's some hardcore shit right there. I'm telling you. Okay. On that note, is there anything else you guys want to say on the top? I know we could have gone in many different directions, but I think, I don't know, for me, what is going to stick with me on this is something that you said a few podcasts ago, Trisha. It's so true. It's like, mean people don't, or what is it? Nice people don't say mean things, right? Or you said, but you said,
pretty
I
much.
think there were profanity. You used cuss words.
I'm sure. Sure.
It was way catchier than that.
Yeah, just like that. People that are confident, happy people don't judge other people, and they
That's
don't
what it was.
say
It was
mean
like
things,
happy people don't, say shitty things or something like that.
yeah.
Roll with that. Fuck them.
Just All right, I'm gonna read. We got a new review that just came in like 2 days ago. It's from Running Mom in MSP, which I don't know where that is, but this has become
No.
what? No.
Oh,
Maybe
MSP.
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 That's the name of the airport in Minneapolis. So.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl.
Yeah, that's right. All right. This has become my favorite podcast to listen to. All my running friends are not moms, so it's been so much fun to listen to other mother runners and their experiences. It's been very inspiring to hear other moms continue to shoot for their goals, all while meeting the challenges of motherhood. I'll keep dreaming big and will continue to root you all on as you keep dreaming big too. Thank you for making this podcast. Super sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much.
Please
Thank
keep the
you.
reviews coming. And yeah, just a big plug, guys. We are working on this secret podcast called What We Really Think, and it's going to be on Patreon. And we have already recorded almost a 2-hour episode, which we may split into 2. We're not sure because it is very long.
People are gonna be like, why 2 hours? Oh God, what do they really think? What are they thinking?
We don't even know. We were all on Mucinex. We have no idea what was coming out of our mouths. So yeah, you'll be able to find that on Patreon. I think it's gonna be out there in the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Do you guys have anything else to say?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I feel like I just divulged all my deepest, darkest secrets, and I'm worried people aren't gonna like me now. So it's great.
No.
It's great. Did I talk over everybody? Oh my gosh, they're not gonna like me now.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, seriously,
stop.
every time we record a podcast, this one, I'm going to be like, I don't think I strung together a single sentence that made any
You did. I know that while you were there for a second, you were like, I know that you did. It made sense. Okay. Because I know how you feel. I do that a lot when I'm like, oh no, the train's getting derailed. And then I'm like, it's back on. So you're totally fine. I promise.
You know it's bad when Olivia is telling you to land the plane.
She was like, Whitney, here's the topic. Remember what the topic is, Whitney.
Trying to send her a ChatGPT script really quick. Just
that's what I'm going to do next time. Next time I get a cold and I take Mucinex, I'm just going to read anything that ChatGPT told me to say on the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for talking and divulging your deep, dark secrets.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.